Good afternoon and welcome to all, parents, family members, faculty, staff, honored guests, and especially students. My name is Joshua Wynn, and I am Vice President for Health Affairs at the University of North Dakota and proud to be Dean of your School of Medicine and Health Sciences. The 67 medical students you see before you in this class of 2025 are entering medicine at an extraordinary time. And I'm not talking about just the pandemic. The power of medicine to prevent disease and improve health has never been greater. In my own field of cardiology, for example, the mortality rate from heart disease and stroke has fallen by about 3/4 over the past several decades. Despite dramatic advances like this, however, the healthcare system has been called broken, and the sacred relationship between physician and patient has been strained. Even our fellow physicians are concerned about the quality of medical student education. Consider the following comments by an esteemed Boston physician, quote, "The most common criticism made at present by older practitioners is that young graduates have been taught a great deal about the mechanism of disease, but very little about the practice of medicine. Or to put it more bluntly, they are too scientific and do not know how to take care of patients," unquote. What is remarkable about these comments is that they were made on March 19th, 1927, almost 100 years ago. These words were penned by Dr. Francis W. Peabody, an eminent physician at that time, who wrote extensively on the importance of the special relationship between physician and patient. While much has changed since 1927, one thing that has not and should not change is that unique and precious relationship between doctor and patient. The white coat is a symbol of that sacred relationship, and we are here today to invite you, the members of the class of 2025, into our profession to join those of us who have the privilege of wearing our own white coats. The white coat ceremony was initiated on August 20th, 1993 at the Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons. Since then, it has become a tradition at almost all of the medical schools in the United States. The white coat ceremony has been promoted and supported by the late Arnold Gold, a former pediatric neurologist, and the foundation that bears his name. The Arnold P. Gold Foundation promotes humanism in medicine and has supported white coat ceremonies to remind medical students of the unique and special responsibility of physicians symbolized by the white coat. It is now my pleasure to introduce our distinguished guests. I would ask each of them to stand so that you can acknowledge them. My wife, Dr. Susan Farkas, Clinical Associate Professor of Medicine, without whom the sun would not rise nor the stars shine. Dr. Andrew Armacost, President of the University of North Dakota, and First Lady Kathy Armacost. Dr. Paul Carson, Professor of Internal Medicine at our UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences, and a Professor of Practice at the NDSU Department of Public Health. Dr. Kevin Moore, Counselor in the 3rd District of the North Dakota Medical Association and a Clinical Assistant Professor of Surgery who is representing the North Dakota Medical Association. Dr. James Porter, Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Admissions. Dr. Ken Ruitt, Associate Dean for Education and Faculty Affairs, and his wife, Kim. Dr. Patrick Carr, Assistant Dean for Medical Curriculum. Dr. Andrew McLean, Chair of the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Science. Ms. Michelle Montgomery, Wellness Advocate for the school. I would like to ask all other faculty and staff members in attendance to please stand as well. It is my pleasure to invite UND President Andrew Armacost to offer a few comments. President Armacost.
It's certainly great to be here, and on behalf of UND and for me and my wife Kathy, who, Josh, that was a great testament about Susan, but I have to say something about Kathy. She's the woman who lights my solar panels, right? She makes my world go around too. So Kathy and I are delighted to be here and share in this great experience. But I think the people who are most proud of you are those sitting behind you. So to all, how about a round of applause for our medical students? And I'm particularly proud of you because you've chosen a profession of healing. And I'm the odd person out, at least through the first 5 seats on the stage. You see all the white coats. I'm not wearing one. I'm, I guess, the token patient on stage. And it's important for you to know what an impact your profession has had on me throughout my life. And of course, being a physician is not mutually exclusive with being a patient, so you'll be taking care of one another as well. It's always fun to think of all the great scientific things involved in medicine and the preparation that you had back when you studied for the MCATs and the work that you're doing in your early courses. But always remember, it's about that healing of other human beings, and always keeping that at the front of your profession, I think, is important, just as Dr. Wynn said. And the symbolism of the white coat is important. I had 30 years in the Air Force, serving in a variety of capacities, but the power of ceremonies and the power of symbology is well known to me. And so use this white coat as the reminder of what you do in terms of the healing within your profession and your commitment to that very profession. Yesterday, we celebrated commencement here for undergraduates, master's degree students, and PhDs. And we started the ceremony with the singing of America the Beautiful, which was a great reminder of our beautiful land that stretches from sea to shining sea. And I think it's also important to recognize the land that existed before America existed. Same land, but I think it's important for me to share with you the land acknowledgement statement of the University of North Dakota. Today, the University of North Dakota rests on the ancestral lands of the Pembina and Red Lake bands of Ojibwe and the Dakota Oyate, presently existing as composite parts of the Red Lake, Turtle Mountain, White Earth bands, and the Dakota tribes of Minnesota and North Dakota. We acknowledge the people who resided here for generations and recognize that the spirit of the Ojibwe and the Oyate people permeates this land. As a university community, we will continue to build upon our relations with the First Nations of the state of North Dakota. The Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation, Sisseton, Wahpeton, Oyate Nation, Spirit Lake Nation, Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, and the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. I think it's important to begin ceremonies like this with that recognition to really be inclusive of all the people, and in particular, this profession where we welcome our members who are part of the InMed program as well. I'm extraordinarily proud of you. Thanks for choosing what you're going to do as a profession, and we look forward to seeing your growth over the next couple years. Thank you.
Thanks, President Armacost. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Kevin Mork, who brings greetings from the North Dakota Medical Association. Dr. Mork.
Good afternoon. North Dakota Medical Association congratulates all of you on this important milestone in your careers. And your journey will be challenging, but I would ask you to keep an open mind, never stop learning, strive towards success, be active in your societies and your community, and fulfill an obligation that you will teach also, to teach people that will follow you. And hang in there. It's a tough journey. It has some times where you'll test you and your family and your friends. But you will do well. And maintain a sense of humor. That's most important. But the white coats you received today are a symbol of the medical profession, a long-standing tradition that's one of the noblest of the professions. So on behalf of the North Dakota Medical Association, we congratulate you, and please accept these white coats with pride and honor. Wear them well. Welcome to the family.
Thank you, Dr. Morick, and thank you, North Dakota Medical Association, for providing the white coats for our students today. I now invite Dr. James Porter, Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Admissions, to offer a few comments. Dean Porter.
My printer didn't work today, so I'm reading off my phone. But anyway, thank you, Dean Wynn. Good afternoon, students, parents, spouses, relatives, and loved ones to the class of 25's white coat ceremony, their white coat ceremony. I want to say this is a special day, and I'm not just saying that just because of the occasion, because I'm saying it because I know because about 15 years ago, I was on the other side sitting in those chairs as a very proud parent of a first-year UND graduate student, or a UND medical student, excuse me, at her white coat ceremony. And I know a lot of you students know that. I use her as an example in class all the time. But another reason this is a special day, for me at least, is that in the 23 years that I've been here as a faculty member at the School of Medicine, this was the first time I received an invitation from the medical student class to attend the white coat ceremony. And I really like that. I mean, it wasn't an invitation because of my administration position. It was an personal invitation that spoke about things and relationships that you and I have had, the class and I have had together over the past few years. And it really touched me, okay? And it really showed me the special heart that you have as the class of 2025. I mentioned this also because in the invitation spoke about the uniqueness of this white coat ceremony. And yes, I would agree. Because of COVID, the class of 25 has spent more time in the program before a white coat ceremony could be scheduled, so yes, that is unique. However, but I propose also an additional uniqueness, a uniqueness of character in the class, because how you have continued to adapt to the rigors of medical school during this time of the pandemic. I have witnessed the class do most of their virtual learning, most of their learning virtually, which already adds to a stressful and difficult situation when they're doing their preclinical medical program. I've watched how they've had to postpone nearly all of their extracurricular activities, which, as Michelle would tell you, is very important for not only building relationships with the class, but also just to increase the well-being, of your mental state. Also, personally, I've had to watch how I've asked you to limit your travels during vacation when you go home to recharge and visit family members and spouses and aunts and uncles and grandmas and things. And also I've witnessed for some of you the reality of not being able to go and share the passing of a loved one. And that was tough, and it was all because of the restrictions due to your status in the medical community. You see, everyone, all of this medical class before you, although they may be students, they're still members of the medical community with all the professional expectations that come with that status that society expects, which means that they have had to make personal sacrifices, which when others did or would not do, they had to do for the safety of others, their friends, peers, family, colleagues, teachers, and the community. This has taken a this has taken a toll in the medical community, but also this is a unique toll to this medical class. But look, they're still here. They are wanting to learn more about medicine. They're ready to finish their preclinical exams. They're excited to start their clinical rotations, and they're still resilient to the tasks that lay before them. So this class is unique because they know how to adapt and overcome in the face of adversity. This skill will prove to be very valuable as they their medical education ramps up with multiple standardized exams, challenging clinical rotations, and ultimately culminating in several residency applications, interviews, and a final selection. So everyone here, let's celebrate this unique class of 2025 as they take their oath today. Students, I want you to remember these special days like today, okay? Savoring them for challenging times that still lay ahead of you. You are very unique, and never forget that. I want to say congratulations and thank you again for the invitation to attend your white coat ceremony. Your class will always have a special place in my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Porter. Today's presentation honors Dr. David and Lola Munson, benefactors who have generously supported the school's educational programs. The talk that follows is named to recognize their generosity, and it is called the Dr. David and Lola Rodney Munson Lectureship. I am proud to introduce our guest speaker for this afternoon, Dr. Paul Carson, Professor of Practice at the NDSU Department of Public Health. He earned his MD degree from our own UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences and continues to serve our students as a professor of internal medicine. He completed his medicine residency at the University of Nebraska and a fellowship in infectious diseases at the University of Minnesota. His wife, Jan Carson, also is a graduate of the UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences, and 2 of their children are or soon will be graduates. That's 4 out of 6 members of the Carson family. Quite an endorsement of the experience here by the Carsons. With that, I would like to welcome to the podium Dr. Paul Carson. Dr. Carson.
Thank you, Dean Nguyen. Well, I want to greet everyone here and welcome all of you, the class of 2025, as we celebrate and honor you for this overdue recognition of your entrance into the profession of medicine. Welcome also to your family and the faculty and the staff of the University of North Dakota School of Medicine and Health Sciences. I'm very privileged to be able to spend this time with you and share in this occasion and share some of my thoughts with you. I'm grateful for Dean Nguyen for giving me this honor. Today I'd like to give you a brief reflection of some of my thoughts on how to find and maintain joy in the practice of medicine. Now, I do a lot of teaching and I'm pretty naked without PowerPoint, so Dr. Nguyen allowed me to have a PowerPoint behind me, and I'm pretty sure that I can get through my 80 slides in the hour that you gave me to do this. So a little bit about on finding and maintaining joy in the practice of medicine. We all want to be happy, and even more deeply, we desire careers that will bring us joy and deep and abiding sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Aristotle, who I'm going to draw on more from a minute, said that happiness is the only end or good that we desire for its own sake. Now, when you go into your clinical rotations and you start to follow various physicians in the near future, you will encounter those who seem to take great joy from their practice and their profession. Unfortunately, a not inconsequential number do not. And I want to help you explore what you can do to better your chances of being in that former category. Now, in Daniel Pink's best-selling book called Drive, he compiles a large body of the behavioral and social science literature research on what intrinsically motivates us and what brings deep satisfaction in our careers. From the literature, he identifies three key components, namely purpose, autonomy, and mastery. What you actually won't find on that list is money and titles. And this is according to the social science research on this. The research shows that one needs to be paid fairly and equitably, but making more typically does not generate incremental increases in happiness, nor do titles and accolades. So what does? First is this idea of purpose. We all want to do something that has meaning, that betters the world, that feels like a purpose that's greater than myself, something bigger than myself. I'm sure that all of you said something to that effect on your personal statement. Medicine offers one of the most tangible and noble purposes of any career: the alleviation of human suffering, the restoration of health, the preservation of life. It is a tremendous privilege not to be taken for granted that you enter a profession that invites you into the darkest, most vulnerable, and most challenging parts of people's lives with tools and expertise to help them. I'm frequently reminded of a family member of mine who worked in the business and marketing world. He was tasked at one time with marketing a product that he didn't really much believe in, and he didn't really think helped anyone. He said to me, "Paul, I really envy you and Jan. You get to go to work every day knowing that you do something that matters." His existential angst in that moment was palpable. I had more or less taken this privilege for granted until he made me see that a little better, and it's something that I actually strive to appreciate every day. Next is autonomy, the idea that I have agency over what I do. Now again, when you sit in some doctors' lounges, you may well hear about the fading of the golden age of medicine, where doctors called the shots, rather than insurance companies, employers, or the government. No doubt physicians face some obstacles to their autonomy, but don't believe any of this fading golden age of medicine stuff. You're entering medicine at a time of exploding knowledge of pathophysiology, better diagnostics, better treatments, a whole new advent of molecular medicine and personalized medicine. You are going to learn tools that make you more akin to wizards and miracle workers than even the doctors of a generation ago. And your medical degree will open doors to pursue a number of paths in your career. That is autonomy. My family tells me that I seem to remake myself with career changes about every 5 years, and then maybe I should get checked for adult ADD. But I am very grateful to the profession of medicine that's allowed me to pursue numerous interests: clinical medicine, teaching, academics, research, even administration. I've never been bored. Finally, there's mastery, a point that I want to dwell on for a moment. It's the idea that I'm trained to achieve skills that are well matched to the tasks set before me. If I'm undertrained, I can become quickly disenchanted due to my inability to address the problems before me. If I'm overtrained to where I'm doing tasks well below my skill level, I can similarly become frustrated or bored. The care of a patient with challenging or complicated medical problems can be a very demanding task. But if you master knowledge and skills that are required to diagnose, treat, and minister to them, it can be a deeply gratifying experience on a daily basis. This is why you are here. You have started on a path of mastering skills in the profession of medicine, and I encourage you to throw yourselves into your studies and strive for excellence as you become lifelong learners. Complete mastery is something steadily approached but never fully realized. But in that striving for excellence, you may find a very deep satisfaction in the use of a knowledge base and set of skills directed towards the care of your patients. Let's now turn our attention back to Aristotle and his tried and true ancient wisdom on this subject. Aristotle, in his book, The Nicomachean Ethics, describes 4 levels of happiness. Level 1, called laetus, is that happiness that comes from material and sensual things. I want to try and have you imagine yourselves a few years from now, your medical school debt is paid off. Can you imagine that? You've just enjoyed a sublime weekend at your enviable lake home, and you and your significant other depart in your brand new Lexus. Hums down the highway with nearly no road noise. You listen to Samuel Barber's Adagio for strings in B minor with sublime fidelity from your high-end stereo system. You go to your favorite Italian restaurant where you know the chef, and you enjoy a perfect meal of linguine and clams and wine and garlic sauce, and you drink fully from your favorite bottle of Chianti, and life is good. This is level 1 happiness. Now you can substitute in your car, your meal, your song, whatever, but you get the idea. This is the first and lowest level according to Aristotle. Level 2 happiness is called Felix, or ego-comparative happiness. This is the happiness that comes from accomplishments, doing well on the MCAT, getting into medical school, having your white coat placed by the dean, getting your MD degree, adding more acronyms behind your name, being asked to be a department chair, or speak at a white coat ceremony. These may be the fruits of pursuit of excellence, which is good. But each of these first 2 levels has a potential dark side. Both tend to produce pleasures that are fleeting and fairly superficial. Even level 2, we can see that a meal or a car ride or whatever might be fleeting, but even level 2, it's a little joke in our family. When my oldest daughter got into medical school, she was high on the wait list, wasn't at all sure she'd get in. And when she got in, she was so excited and overjoyed that she felt like that joy would carry her for the rest of her life. But it really only carried her to about block 1 exams. And it became a joke in our family that whenever she was struggling and facing the next step exam and so on, I'd say to her, "Grace, you got into medical school." And she'd laugh because it was the joke that joy was so immense and faded so quickly. And the dark side of level 1, if pursued first and foremost, may lead to its dark sides, which are avarice, maybe obesity, addiction. Level 2 happiness is hinged upon your achievement, which you may or may not get. If sought and not achieved, one may experience envy. Furthermore, there's always someone above you who has achieved more, and your accomplishment is often bought at the expense of someone else not getting that accolade, and may lead to a sense of self-congratulation, entitlement, privilege, worst of all, arrogance. The next highest level is beatitudo, or doing good for others, and these ascend in Aristotle's order of the higher levels of happiness. This is aiming my efforts at goods outside of myself, the betterment of others, the betterment of my community, the betterment of the world. Aristotle, and actually a large body now of empiric social science and behavioral research, shows this to be a much deeper and more enduring form of happiness, and it has minimal to no dark side. His last level is called sublime beatitudo. It's described as seeking the transcendent or perfected version of this good, often described as having a spiritual element to it. Now I want to turn briefly to something that seems less pleasant, but it's the potential thieves that threaten to steal your joy in medicine. I apologize if this seems a bit indecorous of a subject to talk about it, which is mostly a celebration of what you've done, but I assure you I will end on a positive note. The potential thieves to your joy mainly derive from getting stuck in the pursuit of level 1 and level 2 happiness. As I mentioned, avarice, envy, entitlement begetting arrogance, and complacency. You are all going to earn incomes as a single earner that puts you at worst in the top 10% of all household incomes in the United States, and at best, well in the top 1%. That may seem a long way off, but it will come. Unfortunately, you're going to encounter some colleagues who will let this become their primary measure of worth and are constantly comparing themselves to others who make or have more or less, that dark side of level 1 and level 2. None of you set out in medical school specifically so that you could get rich or pursue material things. At least none of you admitted that on a personal statement. But some of you may end up there. And I can tell you these are some of the most joyless colleagues you will work with. And if they're not joyless in their own right, they're joyless to be around. Now, I want to get too morose here, and I know that you will have the privilege of working with many brilliant and selfless mentors along the way. Similarly, being stuck pursuing level 2 can lead to envy, self-congratulation, entitlement, arrogance, complacency, all of which similarly steal joy. And again, you will fortunately have many mentors along the way who have pursued and achieved excellence in our profession while somehow still maintaining a sense of true humility. And these people are gems that you should latch onto and study and emulate. Finally, I want to turn to a more upbeat note on what you can do to shield yourself from the thieves of joy and how to have a deeply satisfying career. This may actually require a bit of a reframing of the way you view yourself in the context of your career and even how you view yourself here tonight. So what I'd like you to do is pivot from the notion that we are celebrating your accomplishments from what you wrought from your own hands and reframe your thinking to actually start taking an inventory of the gifts that have been given to you that have enabled you to be here and how to become good stewards of those gifts. This is the notion from the Bible, for example, of to whom much is given, much is expected, or if you prefer a more secular version of that wisdom, Uncle Ben in Spider-Man 1, with great power comes great responsibility. You have no doubt worked hard to get here, which is a big part of being a good steward of your gifts. But do not doubt that much, perhaps even most, of what you have is gift. Your high IQ, an important requisite for succeeding in medical school, is mostly inherited. And if you prefer nurture over nature, many of you have had environments crafted by loving family or friends that valued your education and supported you in your hard work. This is a gift. An often overlooked key to success is one's ability to delay gratification and self-deny. Even that, perhaps, is mostly a gift. Perhaps some of you have heard about the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment. In this experiment, they took 4 to 5-year-olds, put them in a room with a marshmallow, set it in front of them, and they were told they could eat the marshmallow right now or wait 15 minutes. And if they did not eat the marshmallow, the researcher would bring them 2 marshmallows. You can watch videos of this experiment on YouTube. Some of the anguished wrestling with self-denial is rather humorous to watch. Most gave in and ate the marshmallow. But a substantial minority were able to deny themselves. Now, here's the interesting part. When these children were then studied as a cohort many, many years later, their ability to delay gratification in that experiment was highly correlated with academic and career success, their SAT scores, better mental health. I can almost guarantee everyone sitting in this room donning a white coat or about to don a white coat would have been among the minority that lasted the 15 minutes. Now, can you claim that as something that was earned or simply a fortunate gift? By acknowledging much of what I am and where I am is due to gift, whether you think that is from God or fate or a genetic roll of the dice or a fortuitous, loving, and nurturing environment, it can still be looked upon as gift, for which we can be grateful. There's actually a large body of behavioral research on what practicing gratitude can do. It is a shield against the thieves of joy. It fosters humility. It steers me away from self-congratulation and thereby arrogance. It fosters empathy towards others, and it can tamp down avarice and promote beneficence. This has been shown in empiric research, and you can actually show demonstrable changes to the brain over time on functional MRI scans in people who take this on as a regular practice. In short, it is one of the partial paths towards fostering virtues that will help you secure your joy in the practice of medicine. So, in finishing, I say again, I'm very grateful for the privilege of being with you here tonight, and I would encourage you to consider making a regular practice of gratitude in your own lives. And we can all start today by celebrating in gratitude your beginning a career that offers you the pursuit of mastery over tasks that are noble and will grant you great purpose and meaning in your lives. And I offer you now and your families my heartfelt congratulations, and I wish you all a deeply joy-filled career. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Paul, for that thoughtful and inspiring talk. I think I can say on behalf of everyone, we are grateful for your comments and your insights. Thank you. Many years ago, just before I entered medical school, I had a summer job working part-time in the emergency department of a major Harvard Medical School teaching hospital in Boston. I worked as the admitting clerk who helped prepare the necessary paperwork for patients who entered the hospital. I was given a white coat to wear, and I remember feeling both proud and guilty as I walked along Huntington Avenue in Boston to the Peter Ben Brigham Hospital Emergency Department where I worked. I felt enormous pride as a soon-to-be real-life medical student, just like you, and yet I felt guilty, perhaps as you students do today, because I really hadn't done anything yet to earn that white coat. The experience prompted me to ponder, what then is the symbolic meaning of the white coat? I would suggest it has at least two meanings, one good and one not so good. The good meaning is that the white color symbolizes purity of purpose, whereby the physician tries to do the right thing for patients no matter what. Thus, the coat is a symbol of the physician's contract with society. That contract gives the physician the ability to be present at birth and at death, and to be involved in the most intimate of human emotions, interactions, and issues. In return, society correctly expects physicians to behave as professionals, that is, to always act with the best interest of the patient as the guiding principle, to keep personal information confidential, and to correctly balance the responsibilities to patient, society, and self. But there is another and more sinister symbolism of the white coat, and that, as Dr. Carson touched on, is that it can reflect elitism, self-promotion, and a sense of entitlement. I must confess, I think I had more than a few of those feelings when I first wore the white coat many years ago. That no doubt contributed to my sense of guilt. So I would challenge each and every one of you, students, to think about these issues when you wear the white coat for the first time, as you will in a few minutes. But please continue to think about them each and every time you put on the coat for the rest of your career. What then are your responsibilities, especially your duties to yourself, as Dr. Carson discussed? I would posit that the most important responsibility you have to yourself is to feel fulfilled in your work, that you have helped another human being with a medical problem deal with that problem. And to be truly fulfilled, you have to act as a professional with all of the associated implications. Finally, you can't be a good and healthy physician if you're not a good and healthy person. Each of you will need to figure out how to balance medical school, family, and self. It is a struggle to get that balance right, but most of us figure it out, more or less. My day is pretty full, but I still find time to exercise, although as some of you will see this coming September 22nd when we exercise together during Jogging with Josh, I've been slowed down by 2 herniated discs. So I'm afraid that rather than jogging with Josh, it probably will be walking with Win. But exercising gives me pleasure, helps to keep me fit, and helps me to keep things in balance. But getting the balance right is perhaps the key aspect of one's responsibility to self. As each of you wear your white coat for the first time, I hope that you will make a silent commitment to become the very best doctor that you can be, and to always wear the coat as a manifestation of your commitment to your patients, rather than as a symbol that you are somehow special and privileged. Well, we are special and privileged, but only because our patients and society empower us in unique and special ways. It is our job to live up to the very high expectations that society has for us. I know that each of you is up to that task. It is now my pleasure to proceed with the donning of white coats. Students, please come forward.
Emily Anderson. Thomas Baker. Holly Bierce. Jonathan Boudry. Tristan Byer. Katrina Blummel. Trenton Bohan. Micah Bordak. Alexa Bratton. Reagan Bradley. Andrew Braun. Seth Barishka. Whitney Caribou. Matthew Coho. Sarah DiDona. Jack Dernberger. Anya Maria Edwards. William Fleck.
Looks great.
Lauren Fleming. April Hagemeister. Amanda Hansman. Brenna Hansen. Courtney Hansen. Joshua House. Parker Hager. EJ Ralph Hernandez. Austin Hill. Lauren Hollingsworth. Chloe Kelber. Joshua Kelber. Emma Kangas. Megan Kelly. Sean Kipe. Bo Lochner. Grace Lavenduska. Brianna Lupo. Lindsay Martins. Amanda Matthews. Liberty Wynn. Danielle O'Hare. Abigail Pleiss. Annika Price. Sarah Rhodes. Rebecca Rist. Tatiana Roberts. Cole Rocky. Kendra Rowland. Michaela Sabella. Regina Schlichting. Connor Sheridan. Nicole Sinclair. Allie Stover. Sarah Streed. Stefan Stroh. Adam Swanson. Marie Tate. Maria Tibasar. Ethlyn Voorhees. Braylon Weber. Kyle Wegner. Benjamin Wolebski. Jackson Wilson. Dylan Rady. Joel Zimmerman.
I would now like to ask the class of 2025 to recite the contemporary oath of Hippocrates with me. Students, please rise. I would also like to invite any and all physicians in the audience or on stage to rise as well and re-swear the oath along with the class of 2025. The oath is printed on the back of your program. Please repeat with me. Today, in the presence of family, friends, teachers, and colleagues, I dedicate myself to the profession of medicine. I pledge myself to the service of humanity. I will use my skills to care for all in need without bias and with openness of spirit. The health of my patients will be my first concern. I vow to hold sacred the bond between doctor and patient. I will hold in confidence all that my patients entrust to me. I will strive to alleviate suffering. I will respect the dignity and autonomy of my patients in living and in dying. As a physician, I recognize my duty to society. I will work to promote health and prevent disease. I will advocate for the welfare of my community. Even under duress, I will not use my knowledge or my skills against humanity. I will acknowledge my limitations and my mistakes so that I may learn from them. To uphold these responsibilities, I will maintain my own well-being and the well-being of those close to me. I will promote the integrity of the practice of medicine. In the tradition of my profession, I honor all who teach me this art. Through honest and respectful collaboration with my colleagues, I will uphold the highest standards in the service of patients. I will seek new knowledge, re-examine ideas and practices of the past, and teach what I have learned. Above all, the health of my patients will be my first concern. This oath I take freely and upon my honor. Students, please turn and face the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and honor to present the medical student class of 2025. Please be seated. My hope is that you, like me, will feel a sense of honor and pride each time you put on your white coat. When you wear it, remember what a privilege it is to be a member of this most honored profession. Finally, I implore you to maintain your honesty, goodness, and altruism. Most important of all, remember the immortal words of Dr. Francis Peabody, who many years ago advised physicians that the secret of the care of the patient is in caring for the patient. Class of 2025, congratulations and welcome into the medical profession. Students, please proceed to the foyer at this time. Thank you all for attending, and congratulations.